I think Master 𝐷𝐸 doesn't need any more of an introduction, but can we all just give him a round of applause for being here and spending this time with us?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon or good evening. I'm so glad that I'm here and be able to serve a few entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs in Bali. And I'm so glad to have our staff from the MDP village, my wife, Rega, our administrator, Suni, and we have also our director, Angel. We have also Leslie. And of course, thank you, Veronica, for accommodating us here, and Rory. I'll do my best to give you I would say, a glimpse of this story called self-mastery, especially for entrepreneurs. It's easier for a yogi to be enlightened than an entrepreneur, because in entrepreneurs, they are always subjected to temptations that are more for money, for the violations of the 7 sins of humanity. So if you have priests, Mahatma Gandhi, and maybe Donald Trump, or maybe Jeff Bezos of Amazon, and Bill Gates, when they practice the self-mastery, I think the yogis are easier to go to heaven, right? Because there are less distractions. So the topic that's called self-mastery for entrepreneurs is a very challenging topic, because you are mixing wealthy people and business people with spirituality, which are two sides and I would say two dualities. But I can match those qualifications and match what we call self-mastery by defining who is really the entrepreneur. By defining what is an entrepreneur or what is entrepreneurship. Once we can define them separately, then we can make them augment in such a way that there's no collision of their focus to be a great entrepreneur with a lot of wealth, and those who can master it, master life. And so the definition, who is an entrepreneur, might shed light to the question, how can these people who are masters of material success and money go to a more enlightened state? So that's very difficult to bridge. So let's first discuss what is entrepreneurship, because this is about entrepreneurship. And I'd like to level the ground so that when we talk about entrepreneurs, we would talk the same language. So what is an entrepreneur, or what is entrepreneurship as far as you're concerned? Then we will collect and synthesize those answers. So when I will start to bridge between wealth and entrepreneurship and self-mastery, they should not have a gap. Okay? Any suggestion? When you say I'm an entrepreneur, what are the different aspects to it, or qualifications or qualities? Please help me with this, because I need to have your input.
I think it could be more vision-focused as an individual, and perhaps there's an aspect of business associated with an entrepreneur as well.
Okay, business, vision. Okay, so that's the difference between a businessman and an entrepreneur, right? And an entrepreneur will always have the vision, and businessman can run the business operationally. But not all visionaries are business people, neither are entrepreneurs also. So vision is one, but not the major definition for entrepreneur. Because I have friends who are visionaries, but they never made money. So they always have ideas. Like philosophers have always ideas. Ask them anything about the problem of humanity, they will always have something to say, but they have not done anything yet. Okay? So there's a lot of thinking, but not doing. Okay, what else? Give me. Yes, sir.
Maybe a creator, like someone steps outside the box and creates their own path, their own way. So a creator of business, a problem solver, I guess.
Okay.
Someone that's out there to solve problems and not be inside the box of, someone that solves problems.
Okay, so entrepreneurs in that aspect are people who can solve problems.
And get paid for it.
And get paid for it. Okay. Well, scientists do solve a lot of problems. They invent toilets, they invent planes, but they do not make money as an entrepreneur. They have the maybe intellectual property, the IP, but is the salesperson like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or the sellers. Like Steve Jobs is more of a salesperson. Steve Wozniak is more the inventor. So whoever can sell, more than invent, solves problems, but more in making money, as you said. So people who can solve problems are not necessarily entrepreneurs until they make money, right? Okay. Anybody else?
Well, they're able to produce products out of these creations and these ideas that make the money. Like they're able to put it in a nice little box for the mass population and consumers to purchase. Or that's the goal, right?
Yeah, all right.
Going off what they're saying, the vision, the creation, and then producing it and making a product out of it, out of these ideas.
Okay, so people who have ideas, who realize the future, you can bring it into a functional, I would say, competitive edge and put a product and go to market.
Like a brand, yeah, make it into a brand.
And go to market products, okay. There's a lot of projects that are done by the marketing and branding experts that brings a feature to go to market product. But it is the oversight of the entrepreneur who makes money, because they will put either a monopoly out of the disruptive competitive edge, or they will just put a big innovation and brand it. So somebody who can put solutions to problems and package either the service or the product or the goods into something that is sellable is an entrepreneur. Okay, yeah, that aspect might be still incomplete, but it's going there.
I think entrepreneurs are people who create values or they add values and then they share their skills of creating values with other people. Well, they add values and create values in exchange for money, but they also share and teach other people how to do that. And they share their vision with other people. They don't leave it just for themselves, but they make it as a bigger vision to share with the world.
Yeah,
to make it a little bit better place to be.
If you can convert something that would add value, that will meet needs, it's an entrepreneurial process. It's a process. For example, entertainment. You don't really solve problems with entertainment, but you meet needs of entertainment, right? Comedy does not solve your problem, but it adds value to meet some needs of entertainment. So you can create problem solving, like tools, like your gadgets, like many things that solves problems of humanity, like medication, surgical, and anything, robotics, that solves problems. But in the aspect of meeting the needs of humanity, the one who adds value might earn money rather than inventions, because it's the perceived value that people think they have to pay. Like brands. Like why do you pay brands like Lacoste and all this? Because you think they have values added to you, like it's more reliable, it won't shrink, like compared to the made in China. So you are putting trust on the brand and add value, and then they sell you more expensively. So meeting the needs. Okay, what else? Anything else? Entrepreneurship?
They decide to start working for themselves, not for someone else.
Okay, so when you start to work for yourself and have your own time and enjoy your own leisures. But a lot of them get bankrupt, by the way. That's the problem, because you want to enjoy life and then you become sad after losing all the savings. So just be careful with that. Okay, anyone else? Okay, somebody who convert an idea into a business? A successful business. Okay. Okay, and create a next disruption if needed. When somebody copies your invention or your products, then you saturate in a competitive world. Okay, anyone else? Yes.
And I would also add somebody who's an innovator, like somebody who innovates and thinks outside the box and finds a way to make money off that. So someone who tries to make an impact, not just earn a lot of money, because that's what makes a difference between businessmen and entrepreneurs. Make an impact and innovate.
That's one aspect of an entrepreneur. There's a scientist who innovate inventions, like from 4-cylinder to 6-cylinder. Is he an entrepreneur or is he an inventor? Is an engineer who is not good in selling, but he has a knack of putting like the cup holder in the car. Is he an innovator? Is he an entrepreneur or is he more an inventor? Okay, so there's a difference between the inventing agent and the one who's selling it. Okay, like the cup holder is one of the more entrepreneurial aspects of a car. It's not the mag's wheel or the engine. It's because we need it. See, it's not a problem really, it's a need that they supplied to us. The cup holder. Without the cup holder, you don't want to buy a car today. Where's the cup holder? How many? Left, right, back. They have more. Now you have to have, they have a switch. They have a charging mechanism. They have a remote control. So now the need has increased. It's not the problems that we have been solving really. It's the need, perceived needs, and then you add value into the perceived and you can sell. Like the apps. How many apps do you have? How many billionaires made up apps and they become so rich just because of an additional algorithm that added a certain value of search? They made billions out of one app. Yes. Yes.
Yes. They are born to be entrepreneurs and then born to be entrepreneurs. And then they are learning by doing to selling the product to get the success. Because born to be entrepreneurs, doing by learnings is, I think, is they can get success because they innovated the product.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah, so somebody can be a born entrepreneur. I think my latest study is there are 10% born entrepreneurs, 35% were educated, and the rest were through osmosis of people who have been working with them who are entrepreneurs. They contaminated them. So not all people are learning through schools. That's why today, even Peter Thiel, which is one of the thinkers of Silicon, declared that it's sometimes useless to go to school in college. He has a graduate of Stanford and a lawyer from Stanford. He declared that if he were another 18-year-old, he won't go to school. He would just go and get trained directly the work he wants to do and evolve from self-education, something like that. So I think a lot of people, even Steve Jobs, Walt Disney, all these people were dropouts. They move out from their house at 16, living in cars and not having enough food. So those people are born entrepreneurs. Whether they're educated or not, they will make money. So there's one thing that I have observed in these people. They are good in selling and closing deal. So that is one thing that I have. See, I mentor a lot of people who are CE levels. There are people who are able to raise from middle management to CEO, COO, CFO. But these people are specific training or quality, I would say, enhancement, which are not available from other employees who are not able to rise to the C level. And I've observed that most of the people at the top would like somebody who can sell and become a brand ambassador of the corporation. That is one thing that they saw. So if you look at the biggest corporations, their top leaders are salespeople. Even McDonald was promoted by Kroc, who bought McDonald from McDonald Brothers, from the two brothers, only for $20,000. And he was telling them, why don't we make it duplicated the chain? He said, no, no way, it's just a restaurant. So he bought it and made it into franchising and made it into a real estate business. Not the hamburger. Real estate is he selected lands that are best logistic location and he sells it to franchise the land. He makes money out of the real estate, not out of the business. So you can see that he turned into, from restaurant into real estate business. So McDonald's is a real estate business. It's not food in that aspect. So salespeople make things big. Steve Jobs is the salesperson. He can sell almost anything. So when they kick him out from Apple, he became the founder of Pixar, digital animation. And then it became big again, filmmaking through digital. And then when he went back to Apple as a new CEO, they bought again all his companies. So he's able to sell things. Even Elon Musk of StarX and Tesla, he's more a salesperson. He's always now in YouTube selling now the Cybertruck and all these things. He is always selling. And most of these people now who are really great, they're always in YouTube selling their ideas, selling their vision, selling their mission, selling the new thing, selling travel to the Mars, if you were StarX, Elon Musk, selling all the time. These people are inborn to sell. They can sell the Pacific Ocean, I think. So if you're an entrepreneur, you need to master selling. If you are not able to deal with, say, rejections, if you have a thin face and they say something against your product and what you said, and you're like sulk or get angry, you cannot be an entrepreneur. Because entrepreneurs are always rejected at first. You keep on selling your ideas, they just like shrug their shoulder. And I started that way. I started in New York City in '93 without money. And even 3 people I've been pulling to teach, they don't like me because they're looking for somebody else, like bearded guy. If you're talking about self-mastery and wisdom, you should be white-haired with a beard, with a safer clothing, with a kurta pajama, So it's hard to sell if you don't have the uniform. If I will wear a safer clothing now, and I have a white beard, looking older, probably your mind will say, okay, this is really a wise person. Uniform, like a soldier. The guy in the immigration in the United States, when you enter, they have just a badge called customs. And you need to say, sir, how are you, sir? If you see him in the marketplace with a uniform, you step on his feet, you never say hi to him. The uniform has power. Just, if I have a uniform now with a 4-star general here and with a haircut, you probably will deal with me differently. Yeah, the power of uniform. So unfortunately, I'm outside the box. I don't like those rituals. I don't want to impress people by just uniforms. I want to serve people authentically, and if you like me, like me. If you don't like me, that's your issue, not mine. Okay, so I have studied a lot being a resident in the United States, how the Americans become the experts on franchising, licensing, IP. They become so rich in a few hundred years. Compared to the Chinese, of course, they've been thriving for a long, long time, but ups and downs. So I studied how entrepreneurs made America great. It's not the politicians. The politicians are financed by the entrepreneurs to win elections. They're like also puppets at that level. So I know a lot of the greatest people in entrepreneurs are sellers, and they close deals. You need to be able to close deals. You cannot just be excited and talk about your vision and then you don't know how to close deals. They have takeaways, but how do you roll it into a business? How do you get them to come back to you and say, okay, I want your idea, can we work together? That is the problem of self-mastery. Because most people who are trained in enlightenment and yoga, meditation, are so timid, so thin, that when you get rejected once, you say, okay, it's not my crowd. I used to do that in New York. I was so guilty about money because I used to teach in India for a long, long time. In India, they train you that spirituality should not be paid. Yoga should not be paid. You just go free a yoga class. Meditation, also many meditation classes in India. Okay, food, okay, you don't have food, go to the ashrams, you get fed, free. They even offered me, if I give $5,000, I will live for as long as I want, all the food free, all the $5,000 guaranteed you to be fed for life. So you make yourself lazy, you're like, okay. So self-mastery in the old context is dangerous because it makes you so guilty about money. It makes you aloof from all the rich people because you tend to think that they are corrupt. You tend to not want to talk to the politician because you think they are evil. You are starting to think that you are a separate elite group who's more spiritual, more clean, more pure, being a vegan, being a meditator. You're starting to be antisocial without knowing it. I did it for some time. That's why today I can call myself a spiritual entrepreneur, because to call it exactly as an entrepreneur, I am not so good in the stock market. I do not invest. I did invest in stocks and I lost because I know I'm going to lose there, but I still tested it. So I'm not going to all the norms of the normal entrepreneur. I do spiritual entrepreneurship, making the wealth transfer to the good people by doing the right thing, by selling the right thing. It's not just meeting the needs, but meeting the greatest need that you can supply based on wisdom and so on. That's why I made this institute. This is my institute in the United States, Wisdom Institute for Leadership and Global Advancement. It has to only be about advancement rather than just making money. So the wealth transfer is a problem to the spiritual people because of our guilt of money. We're aloof. We do not educate ourselves in the business sense. We don't want to sell because we are guilty about receiving. We have so much guilt copied from religion, from parents, from culture, and so on. So we are losing the grounds to the rich people who are already rich, but they have all the amenities to get more money by money, money for money. So self-mastery today does not mean that you should be pure and not receiving money, not becoming wealthy. If you become wealthier, you can practice generosity easier because you have something to give. The problem is the people with the heart doesn't have anything to give. So generosity is not easy to give, to perform if there's nothing to give. That is the problem. When I was mentoring, I have 5 billionaire clients. 4 are in India, 1 in the Philippines. My God, I was shocked that we judge them too differently. They are philanthropists. They give a lot of money. They feed their children. They educate people. But they do not announce them, unless the Americans, they announce their philanthropic. Some Asians do not announce their philanthropic movements. It's more hidden. So I have learned that a lot of materially successful people are very, very kind and and they're very generous. The only thing is, it's not advertised. How do you know that a billionaire, what does a billionaire do every day, 24 hours, 365 days a year? We only hear the news. On the time that they are not in the news, what are they doing to help humanity? They're very busy helping humanity. And we think that the meditators and the yogis are the one helping humanity. So we want to belong to one side, but we don't want. So anyone who does not want money and wealth is not an entrepreneur. Even a spiritual entrepreneur such as mine, my system, I have to get money for me to be able to give money to my employees, to a finance project, to build resorts, to travel around the world so that I can teach. Remove the money from Dalai Lama. He cannot travel around the world to preach Buddhism. Remove money from Mother Teresa. There's no medicine for the poor. I've realized it because when I was in Mother Teresa's foundation in Kolkata, I saw a television crew taking a picture of the old nuns washing their clothing. And they advertised them as they're really, really suffering. And I was thinking, if I can donate a washing machine so that they will be dealing directly with the client, not on the clothing, that would be a different efficiency. And then I saw one driver, a very thin Indian driver. He was carrying all the rice, all the supplies that he drove from Bombay, a few hours or so, to almost 2 days, to bring those sacks of rice and medicine to Mother Teresa Foundation. And I said, oh, this is unfortunate that nobody is taking the driver, who drove, maybe slept in the car for 2 days, tired, and maybe paid only a few rupees. Nobody is taking the kind job of the driver's contribution to the Mother Teresa nuns. Who is driving to give those goods? The driver, who had been paid maybe little money and then suffered for not even taking a bath for 2 days. And then nobody's taking the picture. Who are the rich people who are funding this? Nobody took the picture. Nobody's videoing them. And nobody's videoing the guy who is working so hard just to get the money so that he will become generous to give the money. So nobody is taking a video of the entrepreneur who works so hard. They work hard. Entrepreneurs work more than the employees, by the way. I work more than my staff. While they're sleeping, I'm working. When they wake up, I'm working. Most of the people, even entrepreneurs as such, they slept in their couch while making their companies work. When they wake up, they're thinking of payroll. They're thinking, how much salary can I give this 30 employees, 40 employees, 50 employees, their health care, the insurance. There's a lot of stress in entrepreneurs. When you think that when you wake up, you're thinking of payroll. So it's a different self-employment and a real entrepreneur that has to loan so much, how many millions to loan so that you can pay 3 months' salary, the amortization of that, all the cars they're driving, everybody's driving a new car, but that's paid by amortization, the lands, the buildings, the light. So that entrepreneur is the one thinking of that. So it is more than the job of a salesperson. So it's not just a salesperson. A person, as a visionary, as the word said, of course, to think where does the money come from to pay all the debts the next month. You have to be envisioning that. Thirdly, you should have a bone that you can do that, like you said, born, but you should be trained also. So for those who are starting entrepreneurs here, I want you to think that we should get the wealth transfer from the rich people who are not too good to the rich people who are going to be good, so that we have enough money to give for a lot of good evolutionary projects, such as what you're thinking, the blue zones and so on. Without money, you cannot compete with the pharmaceutical companies who wants to do their own red zones or black zones or death zones or pollution zones. So ideally, we need first to have the infrastructure by which money is available or funders are available, anything that is needed for the wealth transfer to happen. You cannot just be a fly-by-night entrepreneur and expecting to be recognized by what we say. They won't believe you. They will first now people do not want just to hear you. They want to see what you're doing. Even me. I do not care what people sometimes say. I care what they do. So what you do is very important to process self-mastery. So another thing that I've found in entrepreneurs that we need to copy is they're very persistent. Their willpower, their stamina. You're working, they're still working. They travel, like I used to travel 130 flights a year. 130 flights a year. 250 classes around the world. Traveling to at least 76 countries a year. Now, without stamina, without good health, forget it. You can be in a good state by meditating alone in a clean environment. Try to live in hotels. Try to live in a tube. Try to be in a very dirty environment all the time with stressed people. It's going to bombard you with all kinds of negativity, and your resistance has to be strong. So stamina has to be part of entrepreneurship or anything that you want. Without stamina, a person who will be ahead of you with stamina will always beat your business or what you're saying. Longevity of performance needs a stamina. And that's one. Willpower is second. Without the willpower, you can have all the talents, but you cannot finish what you start. Not only living longer, but living the stamina that you need to drive your point. As you age, you should have more energy to drive your mission rather than decline like most people. So you should have the stamina, the willpower. That is in entrepreneurs. That's why they're very, very, I would say, aggressive in that aspect, because they want to finish what they're starting. It's like you. When you're very eager, you want to finish what you start, and you don't want anyone stopping you. So willpower and stamina is one of the traits of a successful entrepreneur or a leader. If you want to lead whatever mission you have, you should stamina and sustained willpower. A focus that is unwavering. Somebody disturbs you, keep on going. Somebody disturbs you, keep on going. Because if your willpower is weak, anybody's, hey, hi, you forgot you have a mission, then you keep on talking about many things. And you say, oops, I should be there. Like, for example, I have many people who can offer you coffee or tea. You say, Master, you want tea? I said, yes, yes. After 30 minutes, there's no tea. Because there's loving people, they come across between my office to the kitchen. They meet 3 people who will say, hi, how are you? Then they're talking, they forgot the coffee. So in mission, you have to be one-pointed focus. You cannot be wavering because somebody gets sick in your family and then you stop your mission. And then your friend invites you to a party, you got drunk and you forgot your mission. And then you have a friend who indulged you with a lot of conversation and you forgot your time. A person who is so focused, you have to go, keep on going without being disturbed. That is one of the weakest points of many loving people. So you can be loving but not focused. You cannot have a mission. You can be talking about the mission for another 100 years, but nothing is physicalizing because you are being distracted. Distraction is one of the evil in leadership. You get distracted, you lose traction, you lose speed. You lose your rhythm, then it's a time robber. So stamina and willpower will eliminate many distractions because you keep on going. If you're running, even somebody will grab you, you keep on running. But if you're just, hi, somebody grab you, you stop immediately. See? So willpower gives you focus, persistence, determination, tenacity, and real focus. If you have real focus, all the impurities that doesn't belong to a mission, you will wave them out like this. That is one. Another one is the ability to be local. It's true that you act and think local, but for a person to become a bigger leader, you need to be aware of what's happening not only in your ecosystem, what's affecting the money in your global economy, Indonesian economy, the possibilities of a recession. If you're not aware of that as a leader, you'll be victimized by the lack of right decision making, which belongs to people who do not have to be a leader, because you need to think ahead. You need to be always ahead. You need to be able to decide things and have plan B, plan C. If you don't have any feature that is more global, you cannot bring your local mission to a global thing. So if you just want to be a local talent and a local leader and a local missionary, then it's okay. But if you want to bring a bigger spin into your mission, you have to be thinking, who are the players that I can pitch, who can fund? Who are the revolutionary of this project that can support me? Who can be my advocate? Who can be my sponsor, and so on? So you have to be thinking of the global market, the global economy, because right now it's more complex and sophisticated than before. Before, you can be locally viable and they're okay. Now, your local business is affected by the complexity of the global market. Like Australia is being minded by the Chinese economy. Philippines is affected by many factors. So if you are not aware of the bigger oversight issues and you are enjoying your life here, there's a time you become a victim of circumstances. So if you're a leader, you have to be local, globally aware, and locally present, and locally impacting. So I always think of localization of leadership. Even I'm in the Philippines right now, I have to be still thinking of paying my tax in the US. I'm an American citizen with a Philippine passport. I still have institutes in the US that I have to be paying my taxes. I have still people, lawyers, trademarkers. I have still to pay my Master Del Pay as a trademark in the US. Every year you have to renew. See, if you're not able to think lateral and a bigger scope, you will forget that, because I'm in the Philippines in a mountain resort. I'm enjoying all my vegetarian diet and organic diet and everything. But if you're not aware what can punish you in the long run if you don't mind them, then it's called the switch off and on entrepreneurship. You rise and you fall, you rise and you fall. It's not a rising curve. Many people are like that. They don't like to be progressive, so they're called the start-stop entrepreneurs. They go up and then stop again. They go up, stop. It's not becoming progressive. So wealth and material success is so important. That's why I started here. And one of the things that gave any idea into fruition to make money is salesmanship. If you have a mission and you cannot sell the idea, you cannot even soundbite in 20 seconds in an elevator with Bill Gates or whoever is your funder or whoever is your advocate and tell them, what do you know that I don't know? And you are on the second floor going to the third floor. And you start to think of PowerPoints. Just, oh, my brochure, oh, my brochure. What would you say in 20 seconds that would impact the conversation that they say, okay, this is my card. I'm Bill Gates. Call my office. What is that and how much is your project? If I say, okay, I'm a donor and you tell me, okay, I need this money. And I said, how much? Do you know how much your project is? And how many people are impacted? How many millions or thousands are impacted by $1 million investment of mine? Do you know what geographic location would be affected by that investment? Do you know how many years would that impact last? How many beneficiaries? To what degree would be phase 1 to phase 2 from phase 0? If we don't know this and somebody is ready to give you money, they will say, okay, you're not ready. So sometimes we think we are ready, but when the quantitative aspect of entrepreneurship is asked, we know the qualitative, like being this, being that, be nice, this and that. So that's qualitative entrepreneurship, that quality of being an entrepreneur, the traits, the soft skills. How about the hard skills, which is the one that makes them wealth? That one is lacking in spiritual people. That's why I'm talking to you as a spiritual entrepreneur. I have mastered yoga meditation. I know 12 styles of meditation, 8 types of yoga. I live in the Himalayas. I live in the caves. I have an immortal teacher. I've surveyed all the 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐼, Okinawa, Ecuador, Hunza Valley in Pakistan, Caucasian Mountain, where all the, forget about Sardinia, they just started now. 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐼 is one of the 50 per 1,000 people are super centenarians. Okinawa, that's another one is Vilcabamba, Ecuador. I stayed there. I had written my book, by the way, Longevity. I've surveyed all the rich and the old people on earth and healed some of them who are almost collapsing. And I have noticed really that there are certain patterns in different people, and that's why I'm trying to share you. A lot of my students are very spiritual, but they have guilt of receiving money. And they have very intelligent ways of making money, but they stop before they make the money. Even in India, I have students who are geniuses, IQ of 170, Harvard graduates, business people. But they go up and then they just get stuck in one level because they are guilty of money. They think that money will bring them some bad luck. So that blockage is happening. So when I'm doing self-mastery for entrepreneurs now and anyone who has a more advanced soul, I have to teach them first this in a way. The qualification why the spiritual people should have the wealth transfer. Why we spiritual people should have the wealth. Not those who are not using it properly. But we need to learn first this. And we have to live and love entrepreneurship. So that the features we think as good solutions should be brought into a product line and bring a business strategy and into a business. And the needs that we need to meet should be brought into a service and then go to market service and then make money out of it. That sequence, the life cycle of entrepreneurship should be brought until you want to sell your business again or until you want to make it public. Another thing, aside from global leadership activity, salesmanship, the closing deals are important. You need to learn how to close deals, not only to sell. Closing deals that are bigger are different leagues than selling a commodity or a seminar. Closing deals have a certain science and art. You need to study that either from the YouTube or from books. Or you go with a closer and sit beside them when they're closing the deals. It's totally a different league. to close deals that are big, or business to business, or business to corporate, is a different deal than closing a deal to one-on-one, seminar-based, or product-based, or selling a book. It needs legal thing, it needs fiduciary commitment. It has a lot of other items that are more exit policy. You need to see how the negotiators would like negotiate. Because one day somebody will ask you, how much is your company? If you want to sell it. Where do you start? How do you even start your sales sheet to make it appear as a big value added to them? So that one, most spiritual people do not like to learn that. They say, oh, it's not my job. It's our job. Even the guru is always selling their mission, why enlightenment is important, why it's good to meditate, why it's good to become a vegetarian, why it's good to... We are always selling, but we don't want to master that, thinking that it's not good to sell. But it is. The guru is always selling their philosophy. Christians, they're always selling about Jesus. Buddhism, they're always selling about Buddha. The Muslim is always selling the Mohammedan teachings. Everyone is selling. We are always self-promoting. Even you tell your business, you're self-promoting. You tell where you came from and why you're here, you're self-promoting. But you need to self-promote in such a way that the high impact, when they listen to you, they know that I need this person. I need what they're saying. See, connection is not enough. You get engaged. Connection is like this. Get engaged is difficult to remove. So you want connection? It's easily disconnected. You have to have a high impact connection so that you get engaged and then you have more time to sell or close deals. Connection, not good. Engagement, yes. These people are masters of engagement. They feed you a lot in a 5-star hotel until you cannot escape. The salespeople would like to spend so much time, give you freebies everywhere, and they engage you with a lot of the freebies until you say, okay, let's talk. They will not get an answer for no. When you say no to them, it must be like, today, no, but tomorrow, yes. They will not stop. The salespeople are, because they are used to be rejected. That is what I learned in sales. When I was an engineer, my first job is sales. Then I went to design. Then I went to the oil industry. I was a mechanical engineer. My first thing that I had been hurt is my rejection. When I was selling a machine, they rejected me. And I was never rejected before that much. So if you cannot handle rejection, you cannot be a leader. Leaders are always rejected because of the ideas are too advanced for other people or too low or whatever reasons. But you should be able to handle rejection. And that is what you learn in sales. Salespeople are the highest trained on rejections. If you want to be trained in dealing with people, really testing you, you work as a waiter or work in sales. Salespeople are thicker, but because they are used to being rejected and they don't stop. They will still smile. They say, hey, you have a bullshit product. Thank you, sir. How can I improve our product? See, they do not sulk immediately. The spiritual people, when you say, hey, your meditation sucks, and then you get mad or you say, oh, you're not ready. Instead of saying, in what way? How can I improve it? It's probably my presentation. It's not the meditation. It's probably the technique's good, but my presentation was not good enough for you. In what way can I improve? Tell me before you go. I would do that. But most people say, oh, he's not ready. He's a negative person. His soul is young soul. We have all the reasons to justify that we have not handled the rejection. We need to be able to handle rejection, even in husband and wife. Why do we always quarrel? Because somebody cannot handle rejection or criticism. Or somebody perceive evaluation as criticism. So to me, this is one of my best training, to be thick. Not thick in the sense of insensitive or not aware. That some people one day don't like you. And as you advance, not all people will like you in your family. Your friends will say, oh, you have changed. So that is one. Second, the ability to read people. You will always be subjected by different kind of people. You don't know their background. You met them for 1 minute. and they're already proposing partnership to you. So how do you read people? See, you need to be able to read people and situations and future. The job of the one who is a missionary and a leader will always be the one who will read situations and people. So if you're a salesperson but you cannot read people, you will not get the right client, because you will get the kidney stone client who will give you a hard time. Whereas there are a lot of good clients that are better than the kidney stone client. So you should be able to train yourself to read people, their types, their strengths, their weaknesses, and also like a SWOT analysis in your mind that this person is strong here, there's opportunity here, there's a weakness here. And your mind is like a motor looking at the weakness, strength of this person, whether it's a potential client, it's like a collaborator, is it a patient, is it a funder, is it a person or more an advocate. So in your mind, you're labeling relationship. Do not see the person, okay, male, female, maybe not married, looks like there's already 3 children by the waist. So you're reading more the vital statistics rather than the potential connections. So this is one training I've done. I'm teaching it to a lot of entrepreneurs and to our clients. How to read the 8 types of clients, the 8 types of design, and how to manage their expectations by knowing their strength and weakness very quickly. Well, of course, I teach also how to scan the chakras. Like, I can look at your chakras by scanning your chakras. I can measure them. How potentially are we in terms of business or relationship or spirituality? Because all the chakras, if you have heard the chakras, they're very common in yoga. There are 12 of them from the crown to base, not 7, there are at least 12. And beyond that, there are more. What they taught you in yoga is incomplete. Well, I taught a lot of yoga in India, so I taught to gurus, lamas, swamis, and they have been surprised that there are more than 7 chakras. Because in tradition, there are 7. But there's a lot of hidden chakras that most people do not discuss about, which I've written in my book. And so, if you can scan a person who is proposing a business partnership, or a venture, or if you're a financier, you have to scan their base center. You have to scan whether they have a potential base money, and then 5 years from now. So when I scan, for example, the icons from Bill Gates to Elon Musk to Bezos to Mike Zuckerberg, I can scan who will last longer in 5 years, 10 years by measuring the financial energy. As they say, find the money, you will find the success. So you can see also losers, winners, champions. You can measure the energy. And this is the next step in many of the detection of diseases. I can see a detection of type 1 diabetes, type 2, or what kind of cancer potentially you have, malignant, or by looking at your chakras is a template. I have studied the template of cancer versus non-cancer. HIV-1, HIV-2, stage 3 versus a non-HIV template. I went to Africa for a few years experimenting on HIV and healing them. So I have studied the secrets of templates of energy. The chakras are your templates. Whatever you say, I can listen to it, but let me see your potential as a human being by looking at your chakras. So when they hire me for the headhunters to hire the next CEO of a big company, they consult me out of 3 choices. Who will last longer in the job? So I scan the chakras. And 80% batting average. The only question is the karma of that person might not allow. So there is such thing as spiritual principles and solutions that will help material problems. If you're solving your lack of money by money solutions, you cannot, if you don't have the momentum of getting rich. But if you use a spiritual law to enhance your wealth and your material success, you can do it faster. So spiritual solutions for material problems. That's where wisdom starts. So there's such thing as life coaching and there's life mentoring. Life mentors starts where life coaches ends. Because life coaching has a limit. They can talk to you, talk therapy, too much talking. At the end, they don't have any more solutions because you are also on a dead end. So you have to do mentoring at the end. So this is so important for any entrepreneur because we are talking about self-mastery for entrepreneurs. I'm not talking self-mastery for babas or yogis. I have to start from here. Another interpretation of what is an entrepreneur is the aspect of forecasting the future. Remember, reading the person, and then reading the situations, what's happening, and then reading the future. Future today cannot be predicted by just data. It's like true that there's a linear curve that is predicted by the past data through algorithms. You can predict. But in the future, the complexity of the data that you put cannot satisfy the future complexity. So less and less is a present curve justify the future happenings. So you need to add an intuition. You should be an oracle aspect. You need to predict certain things that intuitionally you receive that is not logical. Logical forecasts will fail in the future because our curve has been not linear anymore. If we are able to forecast, we would have forecast the 2008 economic crash. We should have predicted so many things with all the algorithms of the United States and the best thinkers. We cannot predict always things because data is linear. Our life is complex, sophisticated. It's not going to be predicted by a linear curve. Even in your life, you have changed so much in a few years, and you will change. You're a moving target. You will always change. The economy will always change. The environment will always change. Your friends will always change. To a certain degree, even your family will change and will not change. So to read who in your family will hinder you, who in your family will promote you, who in your friends will support you, who in your friends will pull you down, is predictable. You can see what they do, what they say, their lifestyle, and then you would know who will be your friends for longer, for longevity, or who will be your friendly enemies versus your friends. Okay, so there are eight types of classification of human designs that you can classify your family or your friends or your business, or even your clients. You can classify them. The Mother Teresa is one type. They are more love nature, but they don't focus on money. The George Bush is more power. Okay. The Donald Trump are more deal makers. You will not trust them in one word. They will always change. The Bill Gates are very predictable. They are concrete thinkers. They're objective. They're precise. The sellers like Steve Jobs are also unpredictable. They will do whatever they want to do to make it work. The builders, the philosophers, they're also missionaries people, the soldiers, the mystics. They will stick to their word, and then until they die, they will stick to the same brand. And there are institutionalizers who will help you institutionalize your ideas. So you don't have to do everything. You need an organogram to collect the best people who will support you materialize your vision in life. If you want to succeed, you cannot do it alone. Oh yeah, group consciousness. Yeah, but what kind of group? You need to be able to convert your group into a team. Fewer, but reliable, dependable, predictable, and they will really complete you. A group, sometimes some people are more dragging to you than uplifting. So do not always say group. You have to convert the group into a team. And to have a team, you need to select, handpick, sometimes the best of the best for that specific placement. If you don't have a plan to make an organogram of who is who in your life, who will move forward with you in a fast pace, if you want a fast pace, you are not still doing an entrepreneurial job into your mission. The mission will be important for you in the spiritual mastery. The mission here can be anything. Can be making money out of toilets, garbage collection, concrete, construction, everything. Here, it will be more evolutionary projects, selective in nature. Okay, so the ability to nurture talents and find them is one of the job of a great entrepreneur. You have to determine who is a talent and who is not a talent. And you'll be able to determine who are the 3% of your planned group that will deliver the superheroes performance, and who are the 20% who will produce the 80% result, like in Pareto rule. If you are not selecting people one by one, handpicking them as you go along, you will end up old, tired, underappreciated, underpaid, and mission unaccomplished. Why? Because you don't have the right people to complete you. You need a team that will complete all the gaps of your weaknesses. You don't have to be a superhero, but you have great people around you who will complete you with a whole superhero team, a high-performing team that will build a big mission to its fruition. You need a financial mind. You need an accounting mind. You need an engineer's mind if you're not an engineer. You need a person who's a seller if you're not a seller. You need a person who can a legal advocate to the government, lawyers, something that will always back your documentation. Somebody who is dealing with your IP, your copyrights, your legal documents, your registration. If you don't have that and you are fast, you will have a lot of open, unclosed portals which will pull you back. You need a team that are handpicked by you, and you need to nurture them. Any company who had nurtured their people, they are sustainable. Forget about sustainability if you don't nurture people. The companies are the people. The assets are different. So this is so important to me because for a spiritual entrepreneur, it takes time to nurture somebody who's more advanced. It's easy to hire an MBA, an engineer, an accountant, ready-made from a top school. To find spiritual people who will help you here is more difficult. It takes so much time to handpick the right, more evolved, older soul. There's so many entrepreneurs who can handpick skillful people who are making money, not necessarily old souls. There are so many of them. There are millions of talents in the marketplace. Just give them the money. Here, there's fewer. The real people with hearts, with wisdom, with an aligned thing, it's not easy to find. In Ubud alone, how many people do you think has a good heart, a good mind, and a strong will? All together in one. It's less. Here, how many accountants, engineers can you find in many? We have many engineers. We have many inventors. But a few people who will be dedicated for a mission with or without money. Okay? So nurturing the talent is job of entrepreneurs. See, if you're an entrepreneur and you have not nurtured your talent, you have not handpicked your people and put a composite organogram, you are not yet doing their job of an entrepreneur. Most entrepreneurs had handpicked their people. They know the 3% and they know the 20% who produce the 80%. If you manage only the 3%, that are superheroes who are the kingpin of your work, and really manage them and nurture them and really take care of them, back their backs. And this 20% who produce the 80% results of your business, you have to nurture these people and make sure that they have the tools, they equip them with the talent, equip them with the attitude, the aptitude, the skills. This is the one producing 80% of your production. Not all people should be treated equally. That is ideal. You treat the people who will produce the results. You put a lot of your heart and your mind to the fewer people who is producing most of your output. The rest are more decorations. It happened that they are there to do little things. So nurturing the talent and handpicking them and putting on an organogram team, building your highly effective team is so important for you. If you're not an entrepreneur and a leader in anything, a mission, you still need that. If you're a leader and say, this is our mission, and you don't have a team, it's just an idea. You're just, I wouldn't want to use this New York words that are bad. That they call it just mental masturbation. New York twang. I live in New York, so I sometimes have to say if I'm talking more on that level, but it's like that. Or we believe that we're doing great, but how great? What's your benchmark of 0 to 10? Compared to whom? Compared to your capacity or your capacity of the future? So that one is so important. If we forget everything and you nurture the talent and find them, you are not the most talented, but you are surrounded with most talent. That is even Dale Carnegie in his tomb in his graveyard. He's one of the richest, if not the richest Americans ever lived, at the equivalent of their money today. He said, I am blessed because I am a man that has been surrounded with people wiser than me. He had claimed that his success is because he surrounded himself with wiser people around him. And he hired the most millionaires, people who become millionaires, distributed his wealth. So that is one thing that I always think of anyone who did not succeed. I said, why is this person working so hard, so talented, with money and not succeeding? One thing I saw in all of them, they don't have a complete team. And they don't nurture them. They are more like consultants. If you're a consultant who is used to being working alone, it's okay to a certain level of performance. But if you're taking a mission that is bigger, if you're competing with others with bigger teams, you cannot last long, because if you're sick, the risk is always on one shoulder. And most people do not want to invest big money on one-man Rambo entrepreneur. He gets sick, there's no sustainability. So you need to think of how the people perceive you from outside. What kind of brand do you project? Because they might like you because you're nice. They will say, hey, you're so good. But on the back say, okay, this guy is still a junior. This person is still immature. So you don't hear them saying that, because these people are also friendly people. But imagine what they're saying after you talk and pitch your project. What are they saying to you at your back? Are you qualified? 0 to 10. What is your passing? 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10? What are you now when you pitch a project? What kind of readiness do you have? Okay? So there's such thing as quantitative part of entrepreneurs with numbers. Some people are good. Finance, CFOs, finance guys, accountants, engineers are very good in numbers. They're the champions of what we call efficiency entrepreneurship. Effectiveness is under soft skills. Good heart, good values, value-centered leadership, transformational in nature, friendly, good psychology. So that's a qualitative aspect of entrepreneurship. You need to be both if you are starting. You need to be a person with numbers and person with a good heart, so that they perceive you as a good person, trustworthy. If you're on quantitative, you might get people who will fund you, a venture capital who is good in numbers also, but will get your company afterwards or your IP, because they're not good-hearted investors. Here, you might get the loving entrepreneurs who will fund your project, and it doesn't care whether your ROI is high or not, as long as they see the value of your work. But not too many of them, and they don't have as much money. But if you can have a team that boasts quantitative savvy and qualitative projection, that is a complete team. So you need both the quantity, the numbers, and the quality type in one team. So that one is needed. So if you are able to read others, you need to be reading yourself. Do not be one-sided. Oh, we are too good, we are good. That's the problem of as you go to success, you will be so much believing that you're too good because you're successful. Or you're so great already that, oh, everybody's telling you you're so great, you speak so much, you are like an icon to us. And then your ego becomes so big that you're starting to have blind spots. That's the danger of this part, the what. Because you start to believe so much on yourself, and then you do not want to prepare much. That is the loophole of the what. So what an entrepreneur is about all the material things: money, accolade, reputation, how many subscribers in your YouTube, all kinds of greatness as far as the normal society perceive you. So do not be locked there. Do not stay there. One day you should be known higher than before. Wisdom. For example, if you see all the different icons who are billionaires now, there's so many billionaires now. There's 70 billionaires per week right now. A lot of them are Chinese and Indians coming. Less Americans, except those with apps. We have so many billionaires now. So billionaires rank now is like, okay, Russians have so many billionaires also. Chinese have so many billionaires. So to be a billionaire now is like a byword, like, oh, okay. Even for me, I'm hearing, okay, another one, another two, another three. Oh, what app? Okay, another app. Okay. But when I look who is wiser, I look at their energy and I hear what they say in the YouTube. I know if they're going to go far or they're going to go down by what they're saying. If they're futuristic or they're like more murmuring about what they have done in the past. Somebody who is not visionary will always be proud about what I've done, what I've done, what I've done in the past. This is what I've done, all my reputation, my accolades, my gold medals. If they're starting to talk about what they have done and less on what they will do, they're fading away. But if somebody said, okay, forget what I've done, I was great, I became a $50 billion investor, but this is my purpose now. I want to do this. I want to serve humanity to this. I want to donate all my money now to the good cause of society. Like Bill Gates is now a pioneer in donating all his money to be spent only for 20 years. He gave only a few millions to her children. Most of it is donated to the Bill Melinda Gates Foundation to be spent only for 20 years. Not more than 20 years. Because he said, why should you prepare for the next civilization if they're more smart than us? They will have more money than, as we have more money now than before, the next generation will have more money. Why should we be funding the future projects of humanity who will be smarter than us? Which is true. Same in legendary families. They are now putting so much money now on this funding that they will donate all their money after they die, it goes to a fund, not to their children. Because they believe that it's bad to give all to their children, they become lazier. They will spend it out without working hard. So that's the philosophy of Bill Gates. I don't want to give it to my children because they become lazy. Success is also a formula for failure because it makes you think that you will not fail. That's why he said, I will donate my money and to be spent only for 20 years. Why? Because the next generation will be smarter, they will have money, why should we fund their projects? Which is true. If we believe that humanity is evolving, there will be smarter people like we've been smarter than the last generations, the Gen X and the baby boomers. And I hope that the next generation will be smarter and richer and wealthier and be more conscience-driven. So I would summarize this before I go here because the main topic is right here. Because I don't want to confuse you. Why are we talking about money here? Because you cannot be generous without money to give. Okay, I'm Mother Teresa. I want to be generous, but I don't have money. Can I borrow from Bill Gates first and give you? So when I start to realize that, people are praying all the time here. Lord, may the poor be given money and food. But there are people who are giving already. They should not pray anymore because they're busy giving. So these people are busy giving. They should not be doing this. Because they are already fulfilling what these people are praying for. So a lot of people think that when you do this, you are more saintly than the one who's giving. This one is action, mastery of action, and generosity. This is still praying for generosity to manifest. I will go for this. If I scan their energy, they're more advanced. It is wise for a person to think of goodness. It is wiser the one who is executing goodness. They're already doing it, not planning it. So if wealth and money can be used for good purposes, it's partly self-mastery. But it has to be guided with certain parameters, which I will discuss to you. So what is an entrepreneur? Is somebody who can make money and wealth and generate wealth from an idea to a feature, to a product, to a business, to a company or conglomerate, whatever you want. Somebody who can determine the problems of society and solve it and make money out of the solutions, out of goods, services, programs, projects. Or somebody who is innovating, creatively disruptive, who thinks of meeting needs. Meeting needs is where a lot of money are happening. For example, Apple, Chinese manufactured for $25. Apple computer sells it for $900. The spare parts from Japan and Korea is maybe around $250. So out of $800 to $900 selling, the Asian market is spending, is gaining only around, you can say around $275. They are busy selling what the Chinese are doing. So what happens? Of course, they have to bring manufacturing to China because these people are only selling. They already branded themselves as good product. So they are meeting the demand by innovating. There's no more disruption first. You see the Apple now, the iPhone, it's just shinier, it's a little bit better camera, but there's no disruption now. There's no more, it's only innovating a little bit. So we are waiting for that. It's not going to copy Steve Jobs' ideas. Somebody has to come up with a new one. Same with Amazon. We cannot disrupt by copying Amazon. Well, Alibaba copied Amazon, but in a more Asian way. It's faster, different way, better ways. We cannot get another Facebook. They will buy again the Instagram. They will buy everybody anyway. So in your own way, we cannot compete in the technology department because they're already overpopulated. We need to bring something that is deeper, that is not still in the territory of the Silicon Valley. But we need to learn the trade by which they become very successful and had wealth transferred to the technologists. So I get local thinking. You act with high impact locally, but you have to be aware globally so that you cannot be punished by the mistakes of others and their circumstances. Also, to be a leader, you need to be globally aware. As you go to self-mastery, masters and saints are very global thinkers because they are looking for humanity. They're not looking for ethnicity. They're trying to see the humanity as a big unit and the earth as a playground, the world as a marketplace. So if you do not think that way, you cannot make a big impact in a global scale if you are thinking only small. So that's why as you go for self-mastery, you have bigger expansion of your consciousness and your mind. But you have to start. Now the old saints and masters, they do not care about money. Because before, you can be a saint by staying in a cave and be enlightened alone. Now you have to go into the cities, the dirtiest cities. You have to go to hell even to save humanity by teaching in hell rather than teaching in heaven. Because what do you teach anyway? Whom are you going to save? The sinners or the saints? That's my realization also. Because I was almost thinking of not coming back. I was living in a cave with my other mentor who is an immortal, thinking that, okay, if you stay with me, I will teach you all the immortality secrets and you will live as long as me, like 400 years old. And I was like enjoying all a minute without thinking of anything. I did not even eat for many, many weeks and I did not get hungry using certain pranayama and certain kundalini awakening. But then I felt, then what am I doing here then? Where are the customers? Where are the sinners that I need to enlighten? So I said, okay, I leave you here. I have to go back. There are so many students in the world that needs our help, not in a cave. So I really withdraw the promise of achieving so much immortality for the sake of being able to serve in cities like yours. Because at the end of the day, your self-satisfaction and self-fulfillment is in contributing to other people, not in being enlightened. Because enlightenment is not a selfish enlightenment, such as the older version. You need to prove yourself in the contribution to society, even in the physical realm, not only in the spiritual realm. So I think the entrepreneurship lesson is important to spiritual groups like such, because I see a lot of you are very spiritual. I see your missions are very authentic in the line of not just making money, but contributing to a bigger whole. And listening to Rory about those blue zones and some things, that's a great idea. But we need more collaborators that are entrepreneurs who will fund even advocacy aspects, even promoting the idea to even Oprah Winfrey to talk about it, or all these advocates of good health and so on. So in correlation to what you're doing, many people who come to me first starts as patients. Then after I heal them, they get well and they become students and go to self-development. And after they get equipped with advanced tools, they go for self-mastery. So if you see my self-care, then they go to self-development, and then they go to self-mastery. You cannot just make people master with a lot of diseases. They will accelerate their karma and they will die before you enlighten them. So the purpose of why we have to live longer is not just to feel good about well-being, is really to flow our lives to be able to contribute to as many. The problem is if you get well without the tools to help people, you will be handicapped to be of service. So being healthy alone and being in a nice mood is not sufficient. If you become an entrepreneur, you have to think, what are the problems that I need to solve? Who are the people who will work with me? What's my team? Another one, what are the myths of society that has not been met? That is more evolutionary. How can I meet those needs? So you become an entrepreneur, spiritual entrepreneur. So spiritual entrepreneurship is sometimes what I say as, what do you do? Say, I'm a spiritual entrepreneur. Like I just came from Horace's Vietnam, the Asia meet of the World Forum equivalent. And I was a speaker also on leadership. And I was talking about spiritual entrepreneurship as part of the next step. I call it sometimes evolutionary entrepreneurship. Because most people are entrepreneurs, they're social entrepreneurs now. It's become muddied already. That social entrepreneurs word is so muddied that anyone who is contributing to anything, even I'm a mafioso, if I give a bicycle to the poor kids, I'm already a social entrepreneur. There's no qualification on the moral standards, and the qualitative aspect is not still tested. So I believe that self-care is very important because you need to prepare the bodies, the body, the mind, the emotions, the energetic realm, the chakras of people, so that they can stand the pressure of self-mastery. Because to awaken the power in you, which becomes so many volts, if you were a 110 volts machine, your body is like your hardware, and you're used to 110 volts. Now, if you go to self-mastery, you become 1,000,000 volts being, because you open up all the portals of power. You cannot handle it with 110 volts. So you need to upgrade your hardware and your software, your mind, your emotions like your software, to be able to expand. If you want to disrupt and become enlightened to a higher level, you need to disrupt your life. Health-wise, your food, your lifestyle, everything is really disrupted. You cannot say, I want to be enlightened, but I want to still be with my friends, I want to eat what I want to continue with my marijuana. I think it's not convenient. Most people are always wanting to position lives in convenience, which doesn't work. In self-mastery, like entrepreneurs, these people who can be rich, they really work hard. I know their stories, I've studied them. Most people who are billionaires today really, really worked hard. They work 18 hours average a day. Most of them started in their garage, slept in cars, and slept in their sofa in their office, small offices. It's only now that they're living in a big palaces, but they started very, very humble beginning. So anyone who cannot do that today with discomforts, like even humiliated, criticizing your product or your services, if you cannot handle that, you cannot go to that level of entrepreneurship. You will always say that, oh, they're not qualified, or they're not my client. There are people who are your client, but they are a difficult client. Like the George Bush clients are not easy. They're always straightforward, they criticize you. They do not mean everything they say to you, but some of them are good clients. They need to be converted to another level of heart. See, if a person is very rough, I'd like to have him as a client because I need to install his heart and conscience so that his rulership will not damage the people. That's why I said my mission here to install wisdom in entrepreneurs, wisdom in leaders, conscience in entrepreneurs. If we can do two things on earth right now, give the heart to the rich people, they will become benefactors of good projects. And wisdom in leaders, they will not hurt the nations and they will not hurt humanity. There are two things lacking in humanity: wisdom in leaders, heart in rich people. If we can give them the heart through methods, we have techniques now. I did a lot to the billionaires who become very strong philanthropic agents. The heart can be expanded and contracted depending on what you're doing, through breathing, through meditation, through self-realization techniques and so on. You can also increase wisdom. There are chakras that amplify wisdom. Like most sages have big crowns. You see the Buddha, the Christ, If you see 𝐿aod, there's a big light on top of the head. The shamans have feathers on their head, halos on the head of saints. That is common thing. So everyone has a halo except the size. Everyone has a crown. Otherwise, you will not incarnate. Every one of you has a crown. It's 3 inches to 5 inches in most cases. I can scan it. As you evolve into self-mastery, it becomes at least 12 inches or bigger. And then it becomes so much downpour of light here that it becomes a high-speed turbo and becomes a halo like a cloud. It becomes golden at first, violet gold. So if I see people with that, they're already saints, whether they are publicized saints incognito or not. Or if a Baba or a saint or a guru is popular but he doesn't have that, then he is good marketing strategy. He's popularized by a good marketing publicity, not because they are saints. Because they have a lineage using that religion they have, and they put them into that position, and they have a big name because they are good in branding strategy. Not really real. So when I look at people, I see the blueprints. Wise people have a big halo, and a good-hearted person with a big heart. You can see a lot of pink and gold here. That's why if you see Christianity has a gold light in saints, Buddhism has a big light here, a big light in Buddha like this, and big here, and big here. There's lights all around different saints. Religions had prophesied or indicated this in their drawings, portraits of saints. You go to Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, you see all the lights at the back of the heads of saints. In religion, they have always lights here. In Buddhism, you have all the lights here, and so on. So there's an averaging conditions by which you see the light in more advanced souls and less advanced souls. So when I see a very rich person, I would know if he can be a potential person or she to go for this, or they will just continue to be rich and die rich. So when we approach them, we approach only those with a little halo. It's easier to talk to them because they're already heart-centered. They already have the inclination to help. Their life is already full of philanthropy. They're just waiting for the right projects to finance. That's why if you look at there's a halo of the earth, hopefully, because the vision is a new progressive world driven by more enlightened organizations and corporations, inspired by wise leaders and value-centered entrepreneurs. That's what I always want to say in a lot of corporations, that culturally they should develop a certain value-centered leadership that nurtures the employees, that enlightens the corporate soul. So that's what we do a lot in corporations. Enlightening the corporate soul by enlightening the leaders and bringing heart into the management and so on. And then deal with their health through stress and fatigue management. So now that we know the what's, then who can be qualified for self-mastery? I'll give you the basics. Okay. Any religion that you know, Muslim, Hinduism, Christianity, they have these 3 aspects of divinity. Okay? This is one of my basic paradigm shifter. Christianity has God the Father, God the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And all of these makes up the absolute God, one God in 3 divine persons, which they claim that we are made into the likeness and image of God, or the design, not the face, not the hair, not the he or she. And I have studied Hinduism, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, the God, the destroyer, God the preserver, God the creator. In Muslim, they have the God Almighty, God the All-Merciful, and God the All-Knowing. In esoteric parlance, we have the will of deity, we have the love of deity, and we have the intelligence of deity. Once you say this basic principle, you will understand many things on earth. I base many teachings here. including you, your design and your potential and your weaknesses and your grade, how healthy you are, how intelligent you are, how advanced you are, everything comes back to here. Including the 8 types of human designs are based somewhere here. And if you can grade yourself, you know who you are today. So who you are is based on your nature. The nature of will available in you, the nature of intelligence available in you, and the nature of love available in you. You have your mind, you have your emotions and heart, and you have your stamina and will. Remove everything else is what remains. Your willpower is seen in your bones. So whoever has a weak willpower, they have osteoporosis. Bone density is weak. They don't exercise. Now, whoever has an overused mind, they have nervous diseases, mental diseases, and so on. Here, a lot of diabetes, heart-oriented people, diabetes, joint problems, lack of will, excessive preservation, obesity. So I study disease. I'm a healer, and I am the creator of a healing modality in the world. And I understood all kinds of diseases. I've healed a lot of them. From HIV to cancer, to thalassemia, to diabetes, type 1, type 2, to lupus, to ADHD, to learning disorders, to bipolarity, to schizophrenia, to autism, and the dark night of the soul. These are in my books. So I hold many, many copyrights and patents on things. That's why I told you, if you have a feature, you design a feature that you can solve, you register as intellectual property. They will approve it for 1 year, and you have the time to sell it, get partners to do it. Then they will cancel it after 1 year. Then it's better than not protected. No? So do not just say an idea. Do not just copy ideas. Just solve a problem or meet a need that you can sell, which will roll into a business, money making, or you can sell the IP and make money off royalties if you want. You don't have to be the operator. So there are many ways of getting the wealth transferred to you through intelligent analysis or analytics or something. But the problem is like this. This is who we are, either entrepreneurs or human beings. This is willpower, which is stamina in the basic level, like athletes, and willpower, will. Like the spirit might be strong, but the body is weak. As you grow older, your willpower is higher than normal, but your body is already tired. So they say that the will is strong, the spirit is strong, body is weak. Or the body is strong, will is not developed in athletes. Strong bodies, weak inside. Okay. This one, mind concrete, the scientific mind, and this is the abstract. This is the IQ, and this is the abstract quotient. And this is kindness or sweetness in some people. And this is emotional maturity and courage, emotional, a courageous heart. Okay, this is where a lot of people do not develop yet. If you grade yourself 0 to 10, which are the weakest points? So there are 2 grades per concept. The stamina is your body strength, your including agility, your vitality, your physical strength, and so on. So stamina can be high. How about your will to focus, to keep on going, persistence, determination? Even somebody dies in your family, you keep on going. If your employee was left you, you keep on going. That will, you grade them. The person can be an athlete, but weak in will. I used to mentor the Olympic team in the U.S., the diving team, and a lot of them have very strong stamina, but the one who does not win has weak will. When they see the Russians, Chinese have 10, 10, 10 in the score, they get nervous and they make mistakes when they dive. So I train them in the will to focus rather than the will to be anxious. Now the concrete mind, intelligence, is the ability to see concretely, objectively, practically, pragmatically, linear thinking, sequential thinking, scientific thinking, numbers, concrete mind, left brain. Right brain, abstract, philosophy, principles, greater idea, and bigger thinking, looking ahead, visioning, abstract. This is the entrepreneurial, this is the scientific. So a scientist can invent, and this person can make money because he sees where the applications of the business will go and make a big company out of the small invention here. Or you can sell a land, and this entrepreneur is looking on how to divide into subdivisions and make money out of each lot. The farmer makes it like grow and harvests. But the entrepreneurs think, okay, if I sell it per cubic meter or square meter, it will be bigger. So they're always thinking of a bigger plan. Now this is where a lot of people fail. A lot of people are kind and sweet, but they are not emotionally mature and strong. When they get problems, they stop and nurture my body first, let me start, and they sulk. This is where you see emotional maturity. It's part of EQ, but they only see EQ as more the sweetness, the kindness. Now there are two parts of EQ. The sweetness and kindness, many people are really sweet. They're kind, they're hurt a lot. You have to have a courageous heart to finish things. You have to endure. Like the old mothers, they are working mothers, they keep on working even they're sick. Today, a lot of mothers are a little bit weaker, like sweet, but so a lot of the enduring mothers before, they were like courageous, they're strong character. That's why they are persistent, determined in their job to send you to school or to take care of you, something like that. So this is in the spiritual mastery, lacking in the Mother Teresa groups. Very sweet, very loving, hugging, but they cannot handle adversities. This we need to improve for self-mastery. Okay, most people have this already. You can go this for going to the gym, eating well. Naturally, you're born sweet. Or just be with sweet people, you will be contaminated. Or you have already schooling in the school of being concrete, looking on numbers. This is what they don't teach you in school, which I teach in my institute. How to upgrade your stamina so that you're not just strong physically, but you can endure punishment of adversity, survival. Most people who have succeeded and failed, they survive because they have the survival instincts. You need an extra willpower. Without the willpower, people do not finish what they start. So self-mastery needs that. You can master your muscles, you can master your martial arts. I'm a martial arts master. I teach martial arts. I teach survival. We teach everything that you can imagine, knife fighting, stick fighting, shooting, survival. I work with the military sometimes. And I appreciate the military because they are the last to survive. They are the first to survive and run away and be alive. And the sweet people will just wait for punishment to be choked. Yeah, I tested my students. When somebody will grab you in the neck and you have children, what would you do immediately? In the movies, they will just choke and die in a few seconds, right? Because you ran out of air. The person who will stride, he will grab anything, bite the person, spit on the face, hit the groin, anything. Why? Because they are trained. They had done it before, so they just execute it instinctively. So if you want to have a mission and have sustainable mission, first is safety and security. Without safety, forget about survival and forget about sustainability. Self-mastery, you need to survive because today the world is not more aggressive, more complex. You cannot be a victim of others' drunkenness. If you work hard, you become enlightened, you become rich, and somebody who is stupidly drunk would just get his knife and just like this, and you got cut on your carotid artery. What happens? Bad news. A drunk nobody killed an enlightened rich entrepreneur who has a mission that's not fulfilled yet. It's not fair. So my students, they are trained, like all of these women are trained to shoot, to fight, to do self-defense, because if they have to take over my mission, if I die next year or so, whatever, somebody has to have a sustainable mission. You have to think that way. Entrepreneurs always think of succession plan. The spiritual people are naive that, well, God will protect me. God has a plan for me. What is the plan of God with you? People claim to me, God has a plan for me. God will protect me. I used to believe that. When I went in Colombia, I was a consultant for the government. 60 people receiving Holy Communion in church get kidnapped by the guerrillas while receiving Holy Communion inside the church. Now, where did the protection come from then? I started to question. A lot of people ask me, how come they were not protected while receiving the Holy Communion? I also asked that. So sometimes we assume a lot, but in reality, try to lie down in the street today or go to Ho Chi Minh with all those motorcycles. Just lie down there and pray that you will not be run over by 3 of them. You will be run by over. Because sometimes what we pray are sometimes not the right things. So I believe, I do not want anyone believing everything I'm saying though. Because that's my policy. Nobody should believe what I say, but nobody disbelieve it until you prove it wrong also. So we need a lot the will for self-mastery. We are now into stamina development. Everybody is now going to sport, jogging, everything now in the gym. America is like booming in terms of gym works, vitamin works, everything is in ketosis diet, everything. A lot of people are working here. The will is still, because people want to have a comfortable life. We want to be in a picture perfect life that you are in a relaxed motion. I used to believe I should be relaxed, I shouldn't be stressed. You should have stress tolerance and high fatigue tolerance. Because as you grow, you will always have more things to do as you grow. As you ascend to higher leadership, you have more responsibility and you have more weight in your shoulder. So if you think that as you evolve, you will have less stress, I think I did not experience that. But I have more stress tolerance and have more fatigue tolerance because I have more energy and I have more will. What distracted me before when I was in martial arts does not distract me anymore. I don't lose energy by you spitting on my face, or I just shrug my shoulder and wipe it. Before I would just kick you and fight with you. When I was in martial arts, I would use all my power to knock you down in 3 seconds. Now I would just work over. It's easier to do it. 3 seconds of tolerance is less expensive than court proceedings and lawyers, right? Okay, you become wiser, so you save a lot of energy, you conserve a lot of unnecessary mistakes when you're wiser. That's why self-mastery is very important. It saves you time and sufferings. First is suffering. As you become wiser, as you go to self-mastery, you have less and less mistakes or minimal mistakes. You know how to do the right things, not only correct things. Correct things, use the mind. Wisdom will bring you the right things. It's 2 different levels of truth. So most people are looking always on the logic of things, the reasons of things, on the logical mental levels. That is correct. As you have more self-mastery, you are looking on rightness of things. Win, 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 or forward-looking, what would happen? Because you're using now principles ahead. You're not looking on the finite game to win 1 football game. You're looking on the infinite game of life that you'd better off not punching somebody and lose $100 or something. You'd rather lose a few bucks but not lose the karma in the future. So you're starting to look differently in things. You'll be reading things differently, reading people differently. You're more patient. You have more elasticity of patience. So you don't get yourself in trouble because they're correct, but partially wrong, but you do not want to discuss more things, so just let go. Now, here is very important. Scientists master their concrete mind. Science, technology, we are now into that. AI, AGI, all things now. Artificial intelligence, 5G. We're trying to master this, but we have not gone much here. So they think we have explored already the domain of the mind. To me, that's the most stupid thing. We have not even solved poverty. They should not be thinking of going to Mars. They should first solve abject poverty, solve laziness, loneliness, and even HIV and cancer. Today we're even having problems with learning disorders, ADD, bipolarity, schizophrenia, serious mental illness. Americans are affected, 25 million of them, 18 to 25-year-olds, SMI, serious mental illness. It's not from age. Is from complexity from drug addiction to alcohol to all kinds of complexity. 25 million Americans with SMI. Imagine 25 million getting a DNA of insanity to their offsprings. What will happen to that new population? A lot of DNA of craziness, damaged, twisted thinking. So we need to move, as we have graduated from maybe AI, or we are going for artificial, the domain will move us in a paradigm shift to be, I would say, push us to think abstractly rather than concretely, because now machines will take over the concrete jobs. The redundancies of work, accounting, even pharmaceuticals, drivers, all this can be taken over by 5G AI or AGI or artificial general intelligence. But the abstract mind, the whys of things cannot be taken by artificial intelligence. It's too high frequency. So we should not be afraid that AI will take over our jobs, because we have to move. We have not even mastered parenting. We have lost a lot of children. So a lot of people who are relieved from the duty of redundant work should be maybe teaching parenting skills, or enjoying more time with family, or enjoying time with social development, transformation, and so on. We should not be worrying about lack of work because AI is here. I've been in a discussion with this forum, Asia Forum, and everybody was so fearful about AI technology and 5G. We've been scared also in computer before. Now we had handled computer. We will always override and oversee all this AI and 5Gs because we are more advanced than the computers. And humanity has a divine guide that's helping us to plan. It's not that humanity is the one ruling the earth. There are higher beings. So we need to start to delve into the development of the abstract mind. The entrepreneurs have mastered, in a way, the entrepreneurial aspect of creativity. But they did it into technology only. So today we have very stuck scientists. We think that we have advanced science. I don't think so. The science in atoms, we have forgotten. We are into applications, into 0-1 binary thing. We have started to push the 5G and binary intelligence, but we have forgotten the atomic sciences. Physicists. We have not had any good physicists lately. We did not the quantum mechanics, quantum physics, quantum dynamics. We are only up, up, up. Okay, Uber, we have Spotify. We have so many of those music things, IT, data, clouds. We have so much into technology on silicon intelligence. But outside silicon, we have not done improvement in medicine, really. Parenting, social transformation, behavioral sciences. We have not done any quantum effect on atomic sciences, astronomical sciences. We have not advanced so much. We were stuck in the 70s because we were focused on silicon intelligence. Really, I've been studying. How come we proclaim that we have advanced technology? We have not advanced technology. We have advanced on silicon domain. But the atoms before, when the time of Einstein, relativity, we have not solved many of the unknown universal principles. We have postulated the string theory, the universal parallel universe, Darwin theory is debunked. But we have not gone except technology in the IT and data intelligence. Aside from that, nothing. So we forgot that we have not really mastered even that except computing. And forget about philosophy. There are not too many philosophers now because everybody is going into apps. We delegated our intelligence to the computing and to the iPhone and to your smartphones. We need to teach even ourselves discrimination. We have so many data. Out of so many data, how many are correct, how many are right, how many are falsified by mainstream media? So our children are believing all the icons. They believe in Shakira, they believe in Bill Gates. Everybody has a cult following. So everything that guy says, we follow because it's our leader. Discrimination has been lost because we do not factor the abstract mind, the principles by which we see what is right and wrong. This is what is correct, science. So we need to go higher here for self-mastery. Now, for emotional, their next lesson is how to make the emotions wiser. The conscience-driven decisions, the wisdom of the heart, the discretion of the heart. This is what we don't have yet. We always go to the biases of our emotional structure, our own experiences. But our experiences are always imperfect. Emotionally, we have always been bitten by certain things. And for example, I have patients. They hate men with beard because their husband has a beard and they beat them. So anyone with a beard now, they say, oh, he's not a good guy. Why? He's got a beard. He looks like my husband, my ex-husband. I said, that's a bias. So emotional intelligence is not always accurate. It has to bring a little more intelligence on not the emotional hurt, but on the heart's intelligence here. So this is, to me, a shortcut of self-mastery. And whoever be more well-rounded, has a strong stamina and will, kind heart, more wisdom in the heart, a good mind with a more principle philosophy, will be the ruler here. That's why God is absolute, omnipotent, omniscient, and omniprovident, all merciful. Whoever amongst all of us here who has to manage the Mother Teresa, the Einstein, and the George Bush will be the next leader, icons of the world. People are in technology are the richest right now. The richest people today are here. Those with ability to get problem solving, intelligence, bring products, services, and branding them, they're the richest people. The billionaires today are focused here. These are the poorest people. Because we're loving, kind, but we're guilty about getting more money because we don't like these people. If you don't like these people, you don't like money. Because their qualities to make money, you don't like also. That's a problem. I had discovered that when I was in New York. In '93, I was already teaching in India. I've been to Himalayas. I've been to everywhere around the world, 100 countries, teaching. When I went to New York, I still brought my idea as a Filipino heart with an Indian training, because India, you don't want to make money out of spirituality. So when I was in New York, I was healing rich Jews, bankers, Wall Street people. And I'm not charging them because I feel like I'm serving them until I cannot pay my apartment. I was almost get kicked out within a week. And I communicated to my teacher. I had my other mentor before was a Chinese businessman. And he said, because you are spiritually stupid, why are you not training the rich people? You are not supposed to be punished by your work. Because when I was in India, I was teaching free healings, free teachings. I was going to different ashrams teachings, and I was making it free because I want to serve. But in New York, you have to pay your apartment, you have to pay your taxi, you have to pay your token for the train, you have to pay everything. In India, they fed me. Whenever I teach, they feed me for a week. They even have a cars to drive me in on my next destination. In New York, nobody feeds you there. So again, positioning. In a world as today, we need to be practical and pragmatic and see and read the situations again. That if people can afford you to pay $1 billion for saving their lives, you charge them $1 billion. It's the value perception. If they would ask me about if I can heal Steve Jobs, and I will say success fee, give me $1 billion, I will heal you. And if I can prolong your life for 2 years, give me $2 billion. It can be a negotiation. But I didn't have a chance. It was too late. Because I was able to heal miraculously a lot of people. People who are paralyzed can walk, comatose can come and walk and come to our village after 2 years. Cancer, HIV in Africa. I have documents, Africa documents on HIV, children, orphans. So there is a science to healing. Energy science. You have a mental aura. You need to heal the minds of people for their mental psychotic thinking, twisted thinking. If you don't heal the aura, you can be talking to a person. Talk therapy doesn't work. There are psychopaths who will just fool you around and they tell you all the best things and they are really crooked. To heal, now a lot of children are now very manipulative. They will tell you what you want to hear. So in talk therapy, the psychotherapists are happy. Oh, he's improving because he's telling me now. They're manipulating you unless you see the energy. So you can heal the astral or the emotional aura. A lot of people with a lot of diseases, their emotional aura is so full of filth and toxicity that if you do not unclog it, it will take maybe 100 years to do talk therapy, and then you get contaminated in the process because you're listening to all their garbage. And if you don't know how to shield, you get contaminated with what they're hearing, what they're talking for a long, long time. The etheric aura, the prana aura, has also the diseases of physical. So you need to clean up the energy. There are 3 layers of the aura. The first layer is the prana and chi, where physical diseases emanate. The emotional aura is where a lot of psychological, emotional issues are deposited from childhood or from past lives. The mental aura is all your mental stuff from the past lives to this life, where all the thoughts, processes are deposited. If you can heal all the 3 layers of the aura, plus give them physical exercise, good food, fresh air, good balance of pH and so on, then you can heal very fast. We combine all the levels, because one level at a time. The formula is supposed to be like this. The speed of healing and regeneration should be faster than speed of decay. If you can solve that equation, you can heal fast. I repeat, the speed of recovery has to be faster than the speed of decay. So in difficult cases like cancer, or like I'm healing HIV with Kaposi sarcoma, cancer, or HIV with hepatitis C, or syphilis, you cannot just do talking. They will feel good but die. You give them all the hormonal therapy, they will feel better, but they will still be mentally twisted. So if you do not see where their problems are emanating, where is the greatest concern and crisis point, you cannot heal them simultaneously, like synchronized healing. And the healing is slower than the decay, especially in wasted level of HIV, level 4. No amount of medicine will be able to save, because they are wasting already. They are every day. And thing. So if you do not combine all the things, it won't work. So the speed of recovery has to be faster than speed of decay. That's also applied to miraculous healing. If you can extremely speed up recovery versus the decay, then you can do miraculous healing, spontaneous healing. So I repeat my summary. Any disease manifests from lack of or over excess. If you overstimulate your stamina also, you will have burning of your nerves, your cells, you have muscle bleeding, you will have hyperstimulation of your glands. It's like yogis always do mantra on the crown. They overstimulate the pineal. They cannot sleep, even they are supposed to stimulate the melatonin effect of the pineal. Overstimulation is also not good. Understimulation is good. Overuse of the mind is good, but if you bring the abstract mind, you will be guided by the rightness of principles rather than correctness of science. And if you are sweet, carry on, be sweet, be nice, be a pleaser. But if you get hurt, do not sulk. See, if you are a pleaser, you will suffer also. One of the formula of suffering is please everyone without using your will to say no. You will always suffer. The pleasers also are victims. So you have to balance between pleasing and doing the right thing. So emotional maturity is one of the most difficult for the Mother Teresa type. The Bill Gates is stuck in the concrete mind. He cannot think of abstract. Until now, he recommends books that are very scientific. He doesn't read philosophy, Bill Gates. And if I were going to mentor him, I would say, Bill, can you read a little bit more the Zen or abstract things, the philosophy of the Hindus? Including now, his project still funding polio, still on the scientific realm. His graduation, I think, should be in philosophy. The graduation of people in athletics, they should develop the will with the heart. Why? Because if you see these equations, any person with a strong will becomes a destroyer without the catching aspect of the heart. Too much power without the heart destroys. Too much will without intelligence always destroys without building things. Like Alexander the Great. He builds, destroy, what nothing builds what he destroys, so it becomes still chaos. If you have too much heart with the will, you become a victim. Because you will not say no to anyone. Or you would get sacrificed all the time. Because you will not be able to say, hey, please, I'm getting hurt. If you do it again, please, you will meet my lawyer. So if you can just use something like, because you cannot just, if people are malicious, you cannot forgive them every day. One day you have to stop them by saying, this is the last time you're going to do it to me. Otherwise, you will meet my lawyer. Even a hardcore, they know expensive lawyer. Okay. Or get somebody who is bigger than them and say, okay, you will meet my bodyguard next time. Okay. Now, if you have too much scientific mind without the heart, you become a fault finder. You will always pick the mistakes of others because you are so much smart, but you don't feel what you say. So too much precision will make you sad because nobody will be with you because you're always criticizing them. You will not have time to love people if you're over-criticizing people. There's no time to love. So there's a need to balance the mind and the heart. So the most magnetic people are people with a great mind. You entice them with your ideas, but your heart is sweet and forgiving. So these people are like the Bill Clinton. Romantic, but intelligent, magnetic. Maybe Hillary is more willpower and mind. The richest nations are this. Singapore is very strict, is tactical, strategic, and strong-willed, discipline. Not much here. That's why they have insomnia as their greatest issue is insomnia. They're always thinking ahead, so they're not enjoying the moment. India is very strong here now, very scientific, all these IT guys, all the MBAs, doctors, scientists, but they still have the devotion. That's why they still, I like them in a way that they can still be trusted in a way because they might rip you off a good deal, but they have the guilt to tell you later, no, sorry, let me invite you to dinner because I rip you in the deal, but I feel bad about it because my guru told me that the karma is big. They believe in karma, you see. The Chinese do not believe a lot in karma except they're Buddhists. So they will win over you with power and tacticality. So the richest nations are this Swiss, Germany, Japan, the United States is the three because they use the political power, military power, their educational power and technology, but they use philanthropy as their frontage and support the world with the philanthropy. They're the top donors for philanthropy in the world. That is what also India is not doing. Very rich, but they have so much poor because they are not distributing a lot. There's only a few billionaires in India that has almost all the wealth in the country. So same with China also. The Chinese, they become entrepreneurial, communist. They use their tactical advantage on product development and copying all things that works. And the strategic is they will invest in all parts of the world, even those that do not like America. Not drop bombs, drop money, investment, and take over the resources. So the entrepreneurial aspect is not to use military, to use investments to have the magnetic aspect of their name. So that's what they do. Aside from building the silicon, the Silk Road where the silicon are building silicon, they're building friendship along many lines. Now, if you look at Indonesia, what is Indonesia in this? See, I'm giving a platform for you to grade even your market. Is Indonesia strong with will compared to Singapore, or is it strong here, heart? Especially Bali, right? Jakarta is more like what? Okay, Jakarta is more political? More here? More here? Bali is a lot here and less here? Because it's like a seaside vacation, it's like Hawaii. You don't want to think work. You think of enjoyment. That's the disadvantage of seaside things. So a lot here is Bali. That's why you have more mystics here, more spiritual people. And hopefully you add that part so that you can put Bali in a different map by using new paradigm shifters that will make Bali not just a destination of weddings of the Indian rich people, but as a spiritual destination with a new paradigm. Not the old yoga, not the old, because yoga I'd rather go to India and Kerala, South India, or I go to Goa, or I go to ashrams in Rishikesh, which they're already gurus that are bearded. Here you don't have long beards yet. So the branding alone is you're beaten by the Indian brands, and they call Ayurveda Center. So Ayurveda, Kerala massage, plus yoga, plus seaside, then Kerala will win over you. So you cannot get that one because that is the USP of competitive as Kerala already. You have to make Bali a different paradigm shifter. Well, a wedding paradise is like already taken.
It's like the Silicon Valley with a lifestyle.
You can have incubator entrepreneurs who wants to easy time while enjoying life, balancing life strategy. You can do that. Or you can say honeymoon for entrepreneurs. You can have your first baby while earning money and practicing yoga or practicing veganism. But if you don't have this one, you will be #1 in the world. There's somebody who will champion this by using the advocacy aspect, the lobbying aspect. That is where a lot of entrepreneurs are good. Lobbying, advocacy, and branding, projection of power. If you don't spend for that, sometimes your competitor will spend more. This is who you are. That's what you are. You can get money, but money is not permanent. You can have billions and suddenly you don't have billions after a legal case. You can have accolades and reputation and suddenly you lose it also. This is permanent in you and it's progressive. So I want you to, for the last part, grade. This is our ending. For you to have this use, you can grade yourself, your spouse, your competitor, your business. Oh. Look at your stamina, 0 to 10, or 0 to 5. 5 being perfect, 4 being excellent, 3 being good, very good, 2 lower, and so on. And you will power. And grade also your concrete mind versus your abstract. Grade your kindness versus your... If you know this, you would know where to work. This is your SWOT analysis in the bottom line. Your strength should determine your opportunity. Your weakness points should determine your threats, and you should work on your strengths first. It requires more energy to work on your weakness to become strength than your strength to become power. So work on your strengths to be powerful, to bring your opportunity at the highest level. Do not make your opportunity determined by your weakness. This is the mistakes of most people who are emotional. They always use their opportunities based on their weakness. Oh, I will do only that because I have this problem. See, that is the weakness. The entrepreneurs, they will always grab the opportunity by their greatest strength, and they will solve the weakness later on. They will hire somebody to heal the weakness. But in most people, they limit the opportunity, what they want to do, by the problem. Oh, how can I do that? I have this problem. I'm not that strong yet, so I cannot do this. Or I have no money, that's why I cannot do this. The entrepreneurs don't have money. They just have a case, a use case to fund. They develop a feature into a service or product, and then they will say, hey, I have a good product. Hey, I have a good invention. Who wants to fund it? Compete. In poor mentality, I have only 1 million, but I have 100 million business. So I will wait until I have 100 million to finance this. See, we always think of our limitations to determine the potential. We need to switch it on, because when you're loving, you don't want to loan money. You don't want to ask people a lot of favor. You're guilty about, oh, what would they say? I cannot sleep if I have loans. So we are limiting our potential by our weaknesses here. These people, they are very smart because they said, I know the technique, I know the person, I know the bank, I will talk to them, they will fund me even I don't have the money. So we need to learn from this. If we don't learn from this group, this person will always be the poorest person in the world, the victim. We need to add the technique here, and we are confident that with our conscience, we will not misuse power and misuse money. Power and money we should have so that we will govern it with wisdom. Then everything is safe. If this wisdom here will go to that leader, it's safe for nations. If this heart will go to the entrepreneurs will become philanthropists. The world will be completed. We have to be more aggressive to help them with the heart and wisdom here. So then we will be here managing the Mother Teresa, the Bill Gates, and the Duterte, or the Putins. But we don't want to move away from here to there, because it's comfortable here, because this is our own world. Whoever moves to here will be the ruler of the three, because they have already the wisdom, the heart. All they need is somebody who can give them the money or the entrepreneurship and the political leadership. We need to be here. Don't die here. God is not just loving. God is also powerful. God is all-knowing. We need to be in the center. If you put this as a template in your business, do not just be the scientist in your business and become a good provider. Be a good political advocate of something. Be known for other things. Do not only be known by your products. Donate to a good cause. Be known for philanthropy or charity. But make sure you have a very good revenue scheme. You can only be generous when you have something to give. These people, they are so generous, but they don't have something to give. They lack of. So my proposal is this model will work for us. I know most of you belong here. Rory belongs here. Veronica belongs here. That's why we don't want to be the boss sometimes. We delegate the boss who is not always smart, but he's stronger. So the people in the companies, they get promoted when they have strong personality, because the one in the top is strong personality. He wants somebody like him. So if you do not project more power to your love and to your intelligence, you will always be administrators. Why? Because that qualification is not a threat to the boss. You need to go here so that they see you as a strong leader who will govern the difficulties when they're out. I know the politics of business and leadership. I work in the political world, business world, and the nonprofit world. They're all the same. They need a leader that has more of the three. Leader of leaders. This is leader of this, leader of that, leader of that. The one that will need for the new paradigm shift on earth, the new humanity, will have to have more of this in the center. Who will not just be rich people, or not be educators or social workers, who will not be politicians, somebody who can handle all of them together. And that is my proposal for self-mastery. There are more things, but this session is too short. But that is already a platform by way you grade yourself, and you will see your lack of and your strength. From there on, you can move self-mastery. Self-mastery is a moving target. Enlightenment is a path. It's not a destination. That's why when I write books, I do not put you into a position that you will be graduating as a saint, and you die, you go to heaven, and you'll be sitting on the right hand of God and listening to harp music instead of working. We need to be working as we grow. Growth will always bring responsibilities that require response agilities, more agile responses. And so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. I hope we have stimulated some interest in you on a new paradigm shifting, on how to look who you are and what you can be, and not only what you are. This will limit you. Oh, I don't have as money as this. I don't have this talent. I'm not a business person. I'm not an MBA. It doesn't matter. What you need to know is where are you want to be. Then this is what you want. Then you become, and then to do will follow. Do not determine to do to become to have. You have to have, be, do. Have this, then you know what you want to become. Then you know what to do. Do not start with a to-do. Start with the end in mind, but play infinite games, not finite games. So thank you for listening, and thank you, Veronica and Rory, for inviting us here, and I hope I did not bore you tonight. Very good. Yeah, thank you. If you want more books, thank you. Our staff can guide you with books. Those who want sexuality, there's a book on sexuality, leadership, darkness of the soul. Maybe that's where you ask questions. I did not anymore ask questions because we are over time, but anyway, thank you.
Before we shoot off, if anyone does have to leave, feel free to go. But can I just get a bit of feedback from Mr. Master Delphi, because I don't know about you, but there's just a lot of things clicking and self-realization, things I've heard from different angles that are just, I mean, so eloquently packaged into, I think it was a 90 minutes presentation. So would anyone like to go to the dialogue and just give some feedback to the time and energy that Master Delphi just to share what kind of came up for you? What's the one key takeaway?
Yeah, that was awesome. Thanks so much. I took away so much from that. So what I've had a realization is whenever I'm hitting all those 3 targets, that's when I'm in massive flow state. That's when things are going well. Like I've just noticed along my pathway when I'm in like heart-centered with the kindness, when I've connected all them up, that's when I'm performing at my best. And then when I jump over here and I focus on the material and I focus on making money, then I can get distracted, procrastinate, get in my head and all these things. But yeah, I just noticed then whenever I'm hitting those three at once, I'm performing like really well at my best.
Yeah, thank you. I did not include a lot of the karmic laws. There's a big function of karma here. You can be wealthy but suffering because the karma is violated. So if you look at these are only words, but these are indicators. For example, the virtues of self-mastery are all in here. For example, what's the virtue of the concrete mind? Innovation, precision, objectivity, practicality. What's the virtue of the abstract mind? Creativity, philosophical thinking, principle thinking, and abstract thinking, which will bring you to higher levels of thinking. What is the virtue here? Is kindness, generosity, understanding, compassion. When you master this, you become altruistic and benevolent. So this is the first level. As you master yourself, your kindness will become benevolence, and your generosity will become altruism, so which is even higher. When you master this one, you will have stamina is good, willpower is good, but you have tenacity, persistence, determination, unwavering speed of achievement, and also you will rivet your principles. See, you have principles here, you will not give way. So even they will offer you $1 billion, you will not, because honesty has its own price. Virtues have tiers, threshold. You can be honest with 100 million, but maybe not 1 billion. You can be honest with women naked in front of you, 10 of them, but if every day they're naked in front of you, maybe you will also give in. Or even one woman every day. So,
yeah, that could be right.
So there's a certain threshold of virtues. So as you use the will, a lot of these issues of gluttony, greed, you will be able to have self-control. So self-discipline is highest here. Self-discipline is the ability to focus with a constant of aim accompanied by effort. If you have a discipline plus self-control, you will not be tempted by small stuff. So self-discipline plus self-control will regulate your wealth and your sweetness. So as you grow forward, there are karmic laws that is violated here. The law of economy, the law of karma, the law of golden rule. If they violate, their wealth will not sustain, or they will have wealth but they have punishments and sufferings, because the karma will boomerang back. The suffering is to watch people suffering in their family, loss of loved ones. I see a lot of billionaires suffer a lot. As I said, I have 5 billionaires. They suffer a lot, more than me. So one of them is even had a heart attack and paralyzed, and when he was 55 with all 800 companies under his name, the richest man in India. But he is twisted in bed, 2 years not moving. He cannot eat. Nobody can, somebody has to zip his thing to urinate. He has a hose. And you are a super billionaire. So you will not sacrifice your health right now with him, even he has given you 55 billion. So there are things that are takeaways here. You will have minimal suffering here. Your pain will not be your suffering anymore. Your pain is your suffering there. Here you have pain, you understand it? It will let go. A lot of your joy is not happiness anymore. It's more blissful. It's ongoing mental satisfaction, a lot of self-fulfillment, which is not day to day. It's a continuous stream of bliss and joy that doesn't look for something more tangible. It's like a very intangible flow. Your wellness here is going to be governed by your good karma, not by only your food or your exercises. See, I exercised more when I was in martial arts teaching than now. My exercises are shorter, more effective, but I have cleaner energy, so I don't have to clean so much. See, if you are dirty, you have to exercise and clean a lot and heal a lot and do a lot of introspection. As you mature and become cleaner and wiser, there's not much to clean. So you don't have to spend so much things and rituals. You will just do the right thing all the time. Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share a takeaway or something that's come up for you? Or even as a point of feedback, something that's clicked?
And you just do the right thing every day. The pyramid of truth will not be from here. You will only have one thing available, is the right thing. Here you have so many correct decisions. As you go ascend into higher levels of development, you have less and less options. This has a lot of options here. When you go higher and higher into the higher level of enlightenment, self-mastery, you do not wobble your truth anymore. It is what it is. I am that what I am. You don't have to do a blowfish projection of who you are. So you're always happy because it's who you are.
It goes all the way back to when you mentioned like reading people, kind of using all that power for success and stuff, right? So how do you become that without like being transactional or like, you know, like using your skills to try to achieve that without, I'm honing on the word transactional, but like, how do you do it in the authentic, ethical way?
Yeah, if you're a transaction leader, you do it by task orientation, role playing. Yeah, then you get transformational with transactional. You become more purpose-driven. So as you go higher into your self-mastery, your purpose dominates everything you do. It's not the transaction that will be justifying your purpose. So here, wealth transfer is your purpose. Success materially, the higher your income, the higher your wealth transfer to your own legendary works, and also your stock market is always what you're looking. So you're not obsessed looking at your stock. You're looking on the value you're adding to people more than the stock. So here is conscience-driven, wisdom-driven. So even transactions-wise, if you're wiser, you don't go for the correct things, you do the right thing. Even you lose money, not to bribe, as long as the money will stay longer after you earn it, because you're feeding your children with the result of bribery, then you're poisoning the karma of your children's stomach, likewise. So I'd rather feed them less food, but well earned, than ill-gotten wealth that will poison their health and their karma anyway. I'd rather be hungry than get poisoned. So here it's like ideal. It's hard to survive in our current complexity right now because you need to bribe some government to get some beads. That's why I moved out from that business. And in some ways you have to take advantage of everybody to earn as much, to cut short your costs and increase your revenue. You're cost-driven, you have to shrink a lot of people's income and the salaries. That is not a good also. Yeah, and also that's why you need the heart, because your mind will say, do this because you will earn money. Correct. But if your heart says, but this is not right. So there's a squabble between what is correct in mind and what is right in your conscience. So the more intelligent you are, the more your heart should be active, because your mind will always outsmart everybody around you. You will always have the reasons to do the wrong things, and then they believe that you're doing the right things. That's why as you become smarter, you need to more further your heart to check and balance you. The smarter you are, the more your heart should be active. It's the one that's going to countercheck. It's the antidote of mistakes. And also you have to have a mentor, because even the best thinkers, they have mentors. Whenever you have this level where you cannot make a decision on your own, your mentor will help you. That's why it's priceless. Pay any price to have a wise mentor. If not, you will make a big mistake and then lose a lot of things you work for a long time. The mentor will obliterate your blind spots.
Yes. I'm start my entrepreneur with the art of selling. Mm-hmm. Like I said, like you said, more selling, more success. But my energy, always I go with the poisons. I mean, love food and everything, because more success, I more meet the clients and more meetings and everything. With your explanations, yeah, I believe I have to get the more stamina, to more get the energy for the selling. I starting 30 years ago with my business. I think art of selling is same. Last time I do the chemical and fertilizer, then I do the property now. It's a kind of the art of selling, and same like you know, the success and kindness and everything. and charity and make the foundation, everything. But my problem now is how to get the more stamina without, to get more poisons.
Yeah, there are many techniques we can use stamina development, and as I said, fatigue tolerance. You will always be tired, but you can recover faster with certain techniques. One of the secrets of longevity is on the navel. That's why the Japanese, when they kill themselves, the harikiri is here, because they know when you blast the energy here, you will lose all the energy for this life. This area is where you deposit your postnatal chi or prana, where longevity is sustained. So if you breathe here, even with the normal mudra here, 10 minutes a day, it will add your postnatal energy that's maintaining your life force instead of using them. When you're very stressed, when you're tired, when you take a lot of antibiotics and medicine, chemical, this one depletes. So you shorten your allocated lifespan chi to be shorter. That's why you become sickly as you grow older. Sometimes when you're young, you're okay to violate many rules. As you grow older, all the side effects of karma, of violation of the health will come when you're older. It will catch up. So if you're young, oh, I did this, I smoked this, nothing happened. You wait for the maturity of your loans. The karma usually mature at a certain age, if not immediately. The more advanced you are, it matures faster. The less developed you are, it matures even next life or before you die. So this one is one of the easiest for you to start. You focus here and do breathing. 3 levels: abdominal, chest, and shoulder. And hold, let you absorb the prana and chi, and 16% oxygen comes out, but it saturates you with prana because oxygen molecule carries the prana and chi, which saturates you. You'll also have more time for the carbon dioxide to be expelled. So you become high oxygen and high prana saturation with minimal carbon dioxide. Your body becomes like non-corrosible. See, when I do this, even I'm very tired, I recover fast. So you combine the navel breathing. This is a chi depository. A lot of advanced yogis, they usually use this one. You have many mudras. You can use that if you want stronger. Brahma mudra. Or you can just use for the normal meditation mudra. Left should be on right. But the 3 levels of breath has to be saturating, abdominal, chest. Or you count 10, inhale, 5 counts, hold, exhale 10, hold. That's the simplest. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, hold. So you can do 10, 5, 10, 5. This is my ratio. Most would use the 16, 8 and so on, but most people can handle the 10, 5, 10, 5. This one. Now for mental willpower here, immune system is the heart, the thymus gland, the spleen. So there are many techniques in my book if you want to study it. Or there's a CD, a DVD that you can just listen. 15 minutes, you have the exercises, breathing techniques, and navel. I wish I had more time to explain to you all the things, but I think I had to satisfy the curriculum which is promised. I did not have the practical techniques to teach today because it requires another hour, but I think with this you would know that power is so much needed to sustain your success. Without power, you can succeed for 10 years and then you like a bullet fired and you like this. So that trajectory should be sustained upward. That's one thing that you can do. Another thing is if you want to increase the power of manifestation, you need to do the squat. This. If you do that, it circulates the energy. The kundalini, the fire will come out. Or you can do, you can just do that for basics. It will hydraulically open up the valves, which opens up the power. Because when the power here stays in the sex only, you become more sexual. But it does not go to your mind, heart, and your energy here to think. So sexually driven, but not mentally creative. So creativity and procreativity are connected. The throat center is concrete mind. This is abstract mind. This is sexual procreative energy. This is money. This is spirituality. This is memory and psychic faculty. The spleen is more vitality. Solar is courage and food. The navel is instincts. So if you want to develop certain faculties here, the chakras have certain switch-on softwares or energetic software you can stimulate. So all of these are in the center. For example, who are practicing yoga here? Okay. So have you studied the Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu? Okay. The Shiva in Hinduism is power. So there are chakras in you which is power chakras. There are love chakras like the heart, the forehead crown. And then here's the throat, Ajna, or the Brahma chakras. So if you know what is weak, you know what chakra to switch on. If you're over emotional, do not switch on this. You have to switch the heart to overtake the solar. Or you switch the crown to be bigger than the solar. If you're too emotional, too personal, you have to switch on the crown to be the detached love. Universal love, this is personal love. So there are antidotes to switch on if this is some imbalances. Even in the glandular system, the endocrine glands. Like if you want to sleep better, you have to activate the pineal gland, the crown. So you need to do a lot of breathing and stimulate the crown, stimulate the melatonin effect, the pineal gland, and so on, and the happy hormones. So there are many things that I have designed that is already categorized according to diseases. Not all breathing technique, not all yoga technique, not all pranayam are good for everybody. The one with hypertension should not be used for low blood pressure. Low pressure techniques should not be used for high blood pressure. Type 1 diabetes should not be used the same as type 2. They are all opposites. If you're hyperactive, you should not use a lot of holding breath compared to one who is depressed and underactive. So there are many restrictions. That's why I wrote the book, Hidden Dangers of Meditation and Yoga, because I have many patients who are yogis, gurus, meditators, who are having problems, insomnia, too many conditions of crying spells, jitteriness, shaking when they meditate, because there's a lot of imbalances in the kundalini and the chakra when they overstimulate or understimulate certain things. So that is why I wrote that thesis in conjunction to my healings for these cases. So for you, navel and the squat alone will help you.
So breathing and a little bit of movement for you.